So some things we can say about this recording is that it was just swinging the entire way through, which is very much the point of the whole album. Has a several other standards on it, and it was all very much in a pickup jazz kind of setting. So there wasn't much done to this arrangement at all, except for, there was a 2-5-3-6 vamp that lasts several minutes at the end. Overall, I think everyone gets a solo in this besides the percussionist Orlando Rodriguez and the pianist Eric Lewis. And it's, I think, almost 18 minutes long. But in general, everything is very well constructed, and so it doesn't feel like it's too long, or at least for me. So, Wynton very much evokes, especially in his first chorus, the emotions of Just Friends, which starts as Just Friends, Lovers No More. Somewhat somber and a little sad in passing, but not terribly connected to that. It goes on to start really swinging and have a much more of a swagger reminiscent of the rhythmic qualities of Louis Armstrong. The first chorus features so much more space and a conservation of notes, something reminiscent of Miles Davis. But after that first chorus, he starts to get more and more virtuosic with his soloing. I believe he takes 4 or 5 choruses, and each chorus is ramped up more and more and more. Another thing to think about is, through a large portion of this solo, there's not a whole lot of chromaticism. It's very much diatonic with the chords that are going on. There are several places where it does not follow this. Let me find it. At the tail end of his phrase, in particular, is an interesting idea. This phrase right here. It starts out with a similar motif, but down a major 7. So it starts on C sharp here and then D here, giving this kind of this altered vibe with a sharp 5, the 3, and the flat 9 here. You can also see here, just by looking at the paper, his large use of just arpeggios just throughout much of the solo. Larger leaps, normal. There is some scalar patterns, but I'd say that most of this is arpeggios and motifs. Listen to these 2 sets of motifs. So he restates his phrase here and goes into a motif here where it's up a step, down arpeggio, up step, down arpeggio, up step, down arpeggio. All of which going through the E minor triad, if you don't count beat 1, 3, and 1 again. But these notes are just steps into that. So let's listen to that. can also see his heavy use of the blues throughout this, and virtuosity. Also see a moment here where he does a chromatic scale down. There's a particular spot that I especially like in measure 1, or right before measure 130, where for 5 bars straight, he does an E minor triad, which is essentially G6, which we're in the key of G. And throughout all these chords, A minor 7, D7, F sharp half diminished, B, he's just doing G6 throughout the whole thing. But near the tail end of it, right like 2.5 measures before we get into the next chorus, he raises it up a half step to F minor, does that several times, and then up another half step into F sharp minor, then down to F minor again before landing on an E minor triad, which is yet again just G6. Very tonic. Let's listen to that. We also see him restate the melody here, which is a time-honored jazz tradition. What I particularly like about those phrases right there, is that it's very exciting musically. He sets up a very